How you guys doing? Just want to talk to you guys about the JFK file release and my thoughts on it. My thoughts. I've been doing some thinking and had some thoughts, and I wanted to share my thoughts a little bit here. And what it means. So I wanted to share my thoughts here for a little bit, and well, ever since the release of some of the files, some of the some of the I wanted to give my thoughts, and I have on Rumble. I wanted to, but the thing is, you kind of wonder on what does it tell you? Like, what does it tell you? I mean, they're out, finally out. We all waited decades to see what's on the, and I've read good 40 pages, 50 pages, and I'm like, man, this is also read some more yesterday, but I didn't, because I felt like, there's a lot more to the assassination than we're led to believe. And here you have the shooting in Langley at the CIA building, and how many did anybody get hurt? Did anybody get injured? Did anybody get killed or deceased? But the thing is, to me, there's more to what we're being led to believe. I talked about this on my Rumble channel, Council of Generation X, and how it's a distraction from having us look at the files. Well, that's a little bit too late, because there's already, files already. Here, I'll show you guys. I've read about 40, 50 pages, and read about, and I was just like, man, this is absolutely insane. Here's the National Archive, and this is the Executive Order 14176, and 235. Like, wow. I've read all the way read all the way to the um, all the way to this is the 104-10009-10222 .pdf. This is dated November 26th of 68. This was like 5 years and 4 days after the this has to do with the Warren Commission. This was a document for Sir Charles C.F. Sory, S-O-R-Y, Director General of the Australian Security Intelligence Organization, GPO, PO Box 510508 in Melbourne, Australia. There's now it says here, Dear Charles, thank you for your letter of 15 October recommending against the declassification of the Warren Commission document CD 3 or 971. I might mention that our inquiry to you in August of 68 was an anticipation of further pressure for the release of the Warren Commission papers, a pressure which has not materialized. Accordingly, there is not at the present time any intentions to release CD 971. Should be question be raised for some future time, the point made by you in your letter provide every reason to keep document out of public domain. Sincerely, Richard Helms, Director. Review on September of 76. That's 49 years ago. Well, it looks like CD 971 has been released. And I mean, this is just absolute insane. You know, all this is just really 40, 50 pages, man. Like 40, 50 pages I've read. And like, dude, this is insane. You know, I mean, like 40, 50 pages. I've read through this stuff. I spent like at least 3 hours just reading this shit, you know. Just reading it, you know, and like, man, I could sit here all day reading this shit, and just the idea of, I mean, like, dude, 40, 50 pages, man. And like all this document shit is and they've been surveilling people, and like for example here's a document for the year 5th of November of 62. It's a memorandum for M.D. Jelly report on Antonio Rodriguez accessible, Echasabel. He's Cuban, born 1913, August 17th. The guy has been they've been monitoring this guy. And like really monitoring this guy heavily. And master's degrees in agriculture, professionally has no religion, but is a Mason. He's a Mason. Rodriguez is married to Edith Jones, who was born in Cuba, March 10th, 1917. She was, however, a Haitian origin, being the daughter of former Haitian ambassador to Belgium. Said she was a devout Episcopalian. The couple is known to have 3 children: a son who was last reported to be in Havana, Cuba, a daughter married to a man with German birth, who was employed the Castro Elite Reform Organization until his departure from Germany in December of 61, and a son, Antonio Rodriguez Jones Jr., born 24th of August of 43 in Havana, who studied at the let's see here, Ecole Francisco International in D.C. in 61. The son had been reported to be anti-U.S., said to have requested permission to his father to go to Cuba or to another socialist country to continue his education. And Antonio Rodriguez Jones resides in D.C. with, let's see here, with Yvonne Jones, his aunt and sister of the wife of Antonio Rodriguez, the guy himself. Miss Jones were born on April 10th of 1910 in Belgium. She was unmarried, a U.S. citizen. She became she was unmarried and was a secretary at the Pan America Health Organization. She became a U.S. citizen in 1959. Since the Castro regime has come to power, Ms. Jones is said to have spoke quite openly for Castro and against the U.S. government. Rodriguez lived in Haiti for about 18 years prior to the commencement of his diplomatic career. Have been barred by the Batista government from entering Cuba. He became a multi-citizen and was the owner of a Port-au-Prince meat market called El Ono Blanco. What Castro assumed power in Cuba. Rodriguez took over Cuba embassy in Port-au-Prince in January of 1959 after Batista applied. Officials had fled to Dominican Republic. Soon thereafter, he was named ambassador to Haiti. Following his appointment to the Dominican Post, Rodriguez continues to maintain contact with person in position to President Duvalier of Haiti. Wow, this is insane, man. Like really insane, dude. You know, I mean, all this stuff is just really I mean, I went through this stuff when it came out. I mean, I went like 40, 50 pages, man, of this. I'm like, man, this is just insane. Just reading this, and shit. But my thoughts. You know, honestly, from my heart in here, I think that it should have been released 20 years ago. A long time ago. Because most of the people that are involved are already gone. They're already gone, and but it's more sinister than that, you know. Batista was he was you know, but Batista may have been, in their words, corrupt in a way. But the thing is, at least you could go at the time and enjoy, you know, vacation and whatnot, you know. But in reality, Castro was already a communist. And he's been a communist guy ever since, until his death. Cuba will always be communist. So will China. So will North Korea. You know. Cuba hasn't had an election in years. At all. In years. And you got one guy whose idea was, I'm going to rise to power and hold the country hostage for decades. Well, he's gone now. But the guy who's in charge now is following that philosophy. You know. It's just that the Cold War is over. It's been over for 34 years.
Small things, under 20.
It's been over for almost 35 years. You know, but it's like they now they want to reignite the Cold War again. Why? Why do you want to repeat the same fucking thing over again? You know. Why do you want to? Because, look, Communism died in 91. Okay? It's over. Done. You know. There's a abandoned structure, you know. It was where major communist countries went. It was kind of like a council of, you know, of communist leaders. You know, it was kind of like their own version of the UN, a communist UN. And on the floor and on the roof was a hammer and sickle. And now the rumor about it was they're going to restore it and make it into like a museum. Restore it, you know. You go there now, it's all just a shell of its former self. You know, it was this, like this. How you say it? It's the what was that? Where you had all the evil villains from DC meeting and shit in this big old ugly ass. Looks like a Darth Vader helmet coming out of the fucking swamp and shit. It was in an old Super Friends TV show. And you had Lex Luthor, you had Solomon Grundy, you had all those evil bastards, as you know. But that's how the communist building was. It was like that, where you had all these communist leaders coming together, and it was pretty big inside, you know, And if you go there, it's a shell of its former self, of what it used to be, and it was on this mountaintop. You know, and it's just that times have changed. I mean, if you go around parts of the world, there are old outposts. Old that's no longer in use. You know, there's even parts where you have buildings used by the CIA no longer in use. They're all just abandoned. You know, there's a guy who he does. There's a guy on YouTube that does urban exploration, and he went into this old abandoned CIA outpost. You know, outpost kind of thing. You know. And inside was an old truck. But upstairs was like this huge office, man. Office. And it was pretty cool looking, you know. And, but he walked in and he saw these old ass computers. Like it looked like it was from the 90s, man. The 90s. Because during that time, right around 2000 was a change, you know, because everything was going from analog to digital, you know, analog to digital, and analog systems have been gone and dealt with years ago, you know, been gone. And so you would think about all those times during the Cold War, man. It was spy versus spy. That's what it was. if you remember the Mad magazines, Spy versus Spy, that's all it was. You know, it's just really at that point where um, so many questions, and it's just really when you understand that what happened then, they're trying to live it again. They're trying to live it again. Why? It's been 34 years. It's been, I mean, the Cold War has been over for 34 years, and all that stuff that happened has came and went, been there, done that, But my thoughts on the JFK files release, I think it's really, it's just a, just a real, just a real mind fuck. It's a real mind fuck. Just a real mind fuck, because after reading about 40 to 50 pages, 40 to 50 pages, I'm just like, man, it's really more about surveillance. Again, spy versus spy, but before and after the Kennedy assassination, events after that day, there were chain reactions about to become, but just a matter over time, and it's still the shadow. It's still the shadow of what happened 62 years ago. The chain reaction has not stopped. Okay, even though the Cold War is over, is it really over? No, it's not. It just, the script was flipped. There's a lot more in those documents than what we're led to believe. It's obvious that Oswald wasn't the lone gunman. He was the fall guy. He was a fall guy, and they needed him to be a fall guy. Because it was all planned. There's no saying. There's no saying. Things don't just happen. They're always planned. They're planned. Um, yeah, it's just that his nephew RFK Jr. Is um, he's I don't know. I think there's a. Um, I think after his dad's files be released, I think there's more involved. Um, I think there's more involved with the JFK files and the RK files. I think it was more about in 68. 68 was 5 years after JFK was assassinated. So here, his brother, RFK Sr., running in 68. Um, um, a lot has changed, man. You know, a lot has. But, you know, Sirhan was supposed to be paroled. He was given parole. You know, he served his time, you know. But Gavin Newsom said no. The guy's been in prison since 1969. Okay. He's not a threat to anybody, you know. RFK Jr. advocated for Sirhan's release. Because he doesn't believe that Sirhan killed his dad. He knows who killed his dad, so. But does he? I mean, does he really know? Who knows? But I would think about, you know, what led to RFK Jr. to be taken out. And whose idea was it for him to go through the kitchen? I would have said no. Don't go through the kitchen, because you know. And the worst part is LAPD. LAPD destroyed evidence. They destroyed evidence. And yeah, LAPD destroyed evidence. And shit. I would say more that I think that was planned ahead of time. Myself, I think so. Because again, things don't just happen. It's planned. Like Martin Luther King Jr. There's plans to take him out. It was done. That was done. No. Because James Earl Ray was the guy that did the coup de grace. Something tells me that it was done by the FBI. You know, because they see the idiots in D.C. They did not like anyone who's more influential than them. If you were Nixon and John Lennon was more influential than you, of course, Nixon wanted to be more influential than anybody, even more than John Lennon. I'm sorry, politicians are not that influential. You know. Musicians can be influential. Poets. Poets can be influential. Historical figures can be influential. You know, like God is influential. Jesus is influential. I think that you look at, say, Lincoln, the founding fathers. Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett. All these pioneers. Look at musicians like, say, Kurt Cobain was influential. The Grateful Dead were influential. Hendrix, Joplin, Morrison were all influential. And when you got J. Edgar Hoover just really pissed off because they're against the war in Vietnam. Wow, what happened here? Because they're more influential than you baldy fat fuck. You're a director of a intelligence organization that has been known to harass, unlawfully surveil, murder. Citizens. For example, Huey Newton, the Black Panthers, only 21 years old when he was killed by the Chicago PD. And but all that facade, all that J. Edgar Hoover facade, all that facade about J. Edgar Hoover, poof. You wanna win? You wanna win? 1971. 1971. That's right. In a little town in Pennsylvania. This was during the Cold War, the early 70s. J. Edgar Hoover was about a year away. He died in 72. And people broke into the FBI building in Pennsylvania, stole files, stole some files. And that's when the COINTELPRO came to the surface. Yeah, 1971. 1971. Thousands and thousands of files were just taken. And it was like almost 35, 40 years later, that it was found out that, like, the story came up. Who were the ones that broke into the FBI building in 1971? Nobody knew. Nobody knew. And, I mean, that was a one hell of a time back then, you know. You risk. I mean, it's like anybody who has that adrenaline rush would do it. They didn't care. They had that adrenaline rush to just go in, go through those files, take everything, and haul the fuck out, man. You know. And it wasn't until years later that a couple came forward. You know, a couple who had 3 or 4 kids. Risked their own lives, man, you know. And very ballsy. Very, 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 very ballsy. I mean, like, shit, I couldn't do that. I mean, COINTELPRO started in the 50s. And it didn't come to the surface until a year later, before Hoover died. Hoover was pissed. He said, I want that woman. And it was a woman that infiltrated by looking for a job. Wanting a job. And she's still alive today. She's still alive today. And her husband died years ago, a few years ago, and this was an attempt to crack down on civil disobedience, you know, which is like, you know, as long as it's peaceful. If it's peaceful, nobody's harming anybody. But if you use your noggin, I mean, look at Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. They did a peaceful, non-violent, you know. And if you're being non-violent, and they're being violent on you, whose fault is that? It's theirs. You're following the non-violent thing, you know. You're being non-violent, non-confrontational. Your weapon, your mind, and your heart. Exactly. 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 In this country, we have some very brave people. And I know someone who's that way, who's brave. And honestly, from here, she is a badass. Oh yeah, she's a badass, in my opinion. If there was a list of badassery women, at the top. Because even in the literature, Even in movies, even in comics, there are strong women, badass women. Even in real life, there are women out there that are badasses, and also, I would like to add Karen Silkwood, brave woman. In her own way, she's a badass, in her own way. In her own way, she's a badass because she had no fear. Of course, she has fear, but the thing is, we all have fear. But the thing is, it's adrenaline that's keeping us moving. It's the adrenaline and getting things done that keeps us moving, And again, we have brave, ballsy people in this world, Even in the United States, we got some ballsy ass people, brave, and they do what is needed to be done and said, I may say that I have the balls to say things that need to be said. I know I have that. I know I do. But the thing is, it takes a lot of heart and a lot of logic, common sense, It's not about me. Never have been. Never will be. Don't want it to be. But I do believe in common sense. Now I mentioned here yesterday on Rumble that talking about LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, man, and because every presidency has their scandals, Also, the one who is president wants to have and keep a legacy that they create, and also want to erase anything that's part of their legacy. Like, LBJ has 5 illegitimate children with 5 different women. Nobody knows about. Now, this is pertaining to Bill Clinton too. If any president has that one branch in their family tree, they're going to want to cut that branch off like it's nothing, like it was never there, because when you look at, say, John F. Kennedy, how many women he was with? Does he have any kids with them? Nobody knows. Is there a possibility? Yeah. Plausible? LBJ has, 5 kids now? While president? I mean, you gotta think about that for a moment. Okay, how come? Because maybe their moms don't want them to know that their dad was involved in killing Kennedy. And here's the thing. Here's how shady LBJ is. If he knew he had any kids with those women, 2 things might happen. The moms could be how you say that new word, suicided, and the kid's going to will go to foster care. Never to be even heard or seen ever again. That's how shady LBJ is. Well, was when he was alive. Now, Bill Clinton, he has a son, Danny Williams, with a black prostitute. Chelsea and his kid. Her dad is her mom's business partner, Carl Hubble. If Bill Clinton ever acknowledged that Danny Williams is his son, Hillary would have a fit. Because she's trying to keep Bill Clinton's legacy, what's left, intact. Well, DNA cannot lie. You know. Shit, dude. No, shit. Different flowers. Could you imagine if, because Jennifer Flowers got pregnant by Bill Clinton. Okay. Now, if she went to have an abortion, like he paid for her to have an abortion. Now, this is a what if. Okay, what if? What if she didn't go and have the abortion, but went into hiding? Okay, went into hiding. Had Bill Clinton's kid. Think about that. And years later, right? Years later, here comes Jennifer Flowers and her kid. Wow, who's that? Wow, that's Wow, Miss Flowers, your kid looks like Bill Clinton. He has the nose. He has that big ass forehead. Wow, Miss Flowers, your kid looks like Bill Clinton with that big ass nose, that big ass forehead. Now, here's the thing. If the DNA tests come out that it is Bill Clinton's kid, I tell you what. Here's what will happen. Okay? The media will be spinning this shit like, and they'll have a talk for about, I would say, a good 3 months, and then after that, done, over with, because the media, they're gonna try to protect a certain Democrat or a evil Republican, because they're buddy. So what happened is they're gonna be like, oh, that ain't Bill Clinton's kid, and then you hear about, we have, this is just breaking news, we have a document saying, like all this hullabaloo, like, here's a document saying that Bill Clinton's not the dad. Wow, really? How? Well, that's pretty quick. Yes, and then got the first look at the document, and it's proven it. Well, how they know? How they know? If you take the DNA of the kid, do a family tree thing. If this kid and Danny Williams do a family tree DNA test, holy crap! Well, you know, Bill Clinton's a deadbeat dad. And most definitely, Hillary be like, just flipping her fucking lid, man. Busting a fucking gasket, man. Funniest thing ever to see. Hillary, stop. Wait, stop. Now, bust a gasket. Front page news, a picture of Hillary busting a fucking gasket. And then you have these ones say, well, how about doing one on Chelsea? Chelsea ain't really Bill's kid. She may be carrying his name, but is that really his daughter? No. Her daddy is Carl Hubble, her mama's business partner. And the dude's fucking ugly as fuck. Who would fuck these two? Holy crap. This is how life is, like one big fucking punchline for idiots. Here, my new book. Punchline for Idiots. Get it at your nearest bookstore online for $4.95. Shipping handling free. I mean, you got idiots, man. I think politicians are their own punchline of a joke, right? Like AOC. She's a human punchline herself. You know, look at Joe Biden. He's a walking punchline of a joke. I mean, look at Kamala Harris too. She's been a walking punchline of a joke her whole fucking life. You know. Whoa! Look who's in office. Joan Ho. It's funny when they make an ass of themselves, and us, the public, are just seeing it happen, and we wait till we go home, close the door, lock it, then just laugh our ass off for the whole fucking week. I mean, we could be laughing till our faces red, you know, because politicians are fucking stupid. They're fucking dumb, dude. They're like a human fucking punchline to a fucking joke. You know. So. Alright, guys, I'm calling it a day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, comment below. And always live healthy, happy, and wise. I mean healthy and wise. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out. Godspeed. Buddha bless.